Hello and welcome back to another video session for Corby's puppetry course. This week we're going to be adding paper mache to our cardboard structures. So this week you will need your structures from last week, some PVA glue, some water and some paper. This could be newspaper, paper from magazines or any scrap paper you've got lying around the house. First things first, we need to water down our PVA glue. So you need a container, it could be a bowl, it could be a takeaway container, anything you like, and you need to pour a load of PVA into here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to water this down, which will make it nice and easy for the paper to soak together and stick to our puppet. So once you've got your PVA in the pot, just grab a little bit of water, go slowly, a little bit at a time, and you want to put some water in and you can mix it together with just a little scrap bit of cardboard. So you want about 5 times the amount of water than the PVA you've put in. You want it nice and runny and watery. You want to make sure it drips a little bit when you bring the cardboard out. That looks perfect. Now when you come to do the body, there's one small step we need to do first. Now our structure's nice and strong, we can cut it out at the back so we can put our hand through. So find the back of your puppet, which is here for me, and I'm just going to cut these strips out. So I'm just going to go these 3 here. I'm just going to cut them completely out like so. Cut that off there. And there we go, I've got a nice hole to put my hand through so I can operate the puppet. So you're only going to need to paper mache the head and the body of the puppet. You can do the legs and the arms if you want to, but you don't have to. It's basically just to cover up all the gaps in our structure so we've got a nice clean head that we can then decorate. So to start off, we want to tear some long strips of newspaper. You want them long enough to go over your gaps like this. So we'll start off with big pieces, big long pieces, and then we'll go smaller and smaller as we build up our layers. It's best to have lots and lots of strips so you don't have to go back to tearing once you've got sticky hands. Once you've got a nice big pile of paper, we can start putting it onto our puppet. What you want to do is you want to grab one strip at a time, you want to dip it in your PVA so it's nice and wet, and then you want to lay it over your puppet, trying to cover as many of your structural bits as possible. It's perfectly fine at the moment if it doesn't go straight. You can wrap it around the cardboard as well. We're just trying to make a shell of the puppet with this newspaper. Make sure you're overlapping each piece of newspaper. And if you find any of your pieces are too long, you can just rip them to make some smaller pieces. Now this will get messy, so make sure you put something on top of your table to keep it clean. The key with this is to be nice and gentle. You don't need to push too hard, you've just got to place it on and make sure it's touching the cardboard. It might be a little bit lumpy and bumpy for now, but you can fix that on the next few layers. This first layer is purely here to get our coverage, so it doesn't matter if it's a little bit rough. Now you should find when the paper goes over your structure, it starts to fill in and creates a nice shape. And once you have a full layer on your head, you can put it to the side and start working on the body. Your body is probably more complicated than your head, so it'll probably take a little bit more time. If any of your cardboard hasn't stuck down properly, then the paper mache will help stick it down. Now the hole that we cut at the start of the session does not need any paper mache on it. You need to leave this empty so you can get your hand in and operate the puppet. You also want to do the top and bottom as well for the body. And once your body is finished, you can swap back to the head. While we've been doing the body, the head has had a little bit of time to dry, so now it's going to be a little bit easier to do the next layers. Now, for these layers, we want to go with smaller pieces, which will make this nice and strong and let us put lots more detail into the puppet. Now this time when we tear the newspaper, we want to go for smaller pieces than we did last time. You want at least 2 of these layers, but if you want your puppet to be extra strong, you can go all the way up to 5 more layers. If you've got any larger pieces left over, you can tear these up. There is no perfect size, it's really up to you. You can start anywhere you like on the head, just make sure you cover the whole thing. Just remember to be extra gentle because you can possibly push through the first layer, especially where it does not have cardboard underneath. And if you do accidentally tear some of the cardboard by pushing too hard, you can always just put some more paper over the top and it will be fine. Make sure you overlap all of the pieces. The more pieces you put on, the stronger it's going to be. If you wanted to add even more detail to your puppet, once you finish the paper mache, you can scrunch up balls and then paper mache over the top of those balls to add extra detail. You might want to make ears or a nose or something like that. So once you've got your basic shape, if you want to go further, you can. So that's our head covered, so we'll move on to the body. Again, the technique is exactly the same as the head, so you just want to cover the entire body with at least 2 coats of the smaller bits of newspaper. And don't forget the top and the bottom. So you can always come back to this and put more layers on after it's dried. So if you find that there's a little bit that you're not happy with, you can always come in and put some more paper mache on. Right, and we are done. So now we've finished our body and head. All there's left to do is let them dry and clear up. These need at least 24 hours to be properly solid, but then they'll be ready to start decorating. If you have an airing cupboard, it's worth putting in there, as that will help speed up the drying process. Well, that's it for our video tutorial this week. Make sure you attend our Zoom session so I can help you with your making, answer any questions you might have, and make along with a load of other people that are going to be making the same thing. And make sure you post some pictures of how your puppets are getting along in our WhatsApp groups. Well, that's it for our video session this week, so I'm going to sign off and I'll see you next week. Bye!